Hello my dear friends, this is a PaintyKat. My name is Catherine. Today we're going to paint landscape and this is a paper I'm going to use. It's a $1 textured as a canvas. This is a demonstration version of tutorial. Full tutorial in real time without all explanations you can find on my Patreon. All links are down below. And also, if you need any advice or you have still questions after you completed full real-time version tutorial, you can ask me on my Patreon and I will answer all your questions you have. So, where are we gonna start? First, I transferred all sketches from all our tutorials you can also find on a Patreon. Printed on just a normal print paper. It's very cheap, so you can keep library at home of all sketches. You can check a video on my channel, which is free for everyone, about library of sketching and how you can compile different landscapes on your own taste. Using my sketches, right? You can compile it and create your own paintings. So after I transferred, I'm starting with the first very thin and watery layer of white. It's giving us better way of blending, all colors going very easily, blending, smoothing all together. About a day time here. In my view, I want to create evening time. There is no sun, it's just a colors of a sunset. I picked up Model Lake Red and it's transferring through the ultramarine to cobalt blue. About all colors, my friends, you can check real-time tutorial. Here I just want to let you know main steps we're following and demonstrate you tools. About tools here, I really recommend to you to have at least one very thin brush, which is one stroke, really long one for the grass on a foreground. Also, I really recommend zigzag brush. All materials, all supplies you can find also in the description box. If you will follow link there, you will find photos and all links for materials I'm using. About paints for this tutorial, I recommend gouache or acrylic. It's up to you. Both paints will work perfectly here. Gouache, a little bit cheaper for me, so I'm picking it most of the time instead of acrylic. And also I really like finish of gouache. It's very soft looking, pastel looking, and it's matte. If you don't like matte finish of gouache, you can use spray, finishing spray that's giving glossy look or half glossy look. Also, if you better like acrylics, you can use it following the same, absolutely same steps. As you can see now, our background, this is a sky where we can see colors of the sun and some cobalt blue ultramarine all blended all together. Also, after we moving on a middle ground, and there I want to create some water plants. Water lily can be, or some others. In the end, when painting will be almost done, we will also add flowers there, white water lilies. So here you can check my brush. In my opinion, for lilies leaves, the best brush, it's a small oval shaped flat brush. Each stroke one leaf, each stroke one leaf. Be careful, don't create too long strokes. It's just a spots, it's just a sunlight playing on a wet water leaves. And when it's going to the background area, we can see it more smooth. No even single spot there. There is just a color, light color, that giving us a feeling we have some light on a water plants very, very far from us. When water going closer to us on a foreground, there is a shadow under the coast, and also, if you ever saw those kind of water plants, you probably noticed that remains of water plants are visible under the water, on the bottom. So there can't be any lights or light sand, there is a shadow. After we done with the water, let's add the water plants, of course. Let's move on a foreground. And here, this is what about this tutorial. Detailing grass. I had so many questions about it from my students or from beginners, how to create not just brush strokes that's stylized as the grass, but how to create a really well detailed grass where you can see leaf and leaf and leaf in all details. So let's check how it's going. First, we're starting with a really dark color. For first layer, this is the most important moment. Please don't put here a light green or middle green. Go for really dark one, but don't use black in the mix. Better mix green and sepia. It can be green and burnt umber, depends what colors you have with you. It can be green and cobalt blue as well. With a cobalt blue you'll get cold undertone in it. With burnt umber you'll get warm undertone, depends what you're gonna create. Next step, with a special brush that have a zigzag edge, I created edge of the group of the grass, and the edge already looking very interesting. If you have no zigzag brush, you have to think, are you really need to create a grass? Because if you do, you have to get this kind of brush for yourself. If you have no special tool, that's gonna be kind of hard, you know, to complete this work. Imagine you're gonna eat your soup with a fork. Very hard. Still possible, true, but it's a hard one. It's the same if you have no proper tool for your painting. That's mean painting will go harder than usual. So for grass, first work on edge, create edge with a zigzag brush. Next step, pick up long stroke brush, very thin one, for example number 1. It's not a rare shape, to be honest, so just be curious about your local stores and also check some online stores. You can find it for sure. I'd say fork brush and the zigzag brush, they are really more rare than just a simple one stroke brush. So with it, we're creating canes, leaves everywhere. And on the next step, now I really like how this edge of the grass looking. For the next step, very important to use good brush. I really recommend to you fork brush. What this shape about? Bristle on it have 2 different layers. first layer shorter but more thick, and another layer of bristol longer but thinner. So in one go, this brush able to create lots of grass. In one go you can open this grass as a fan on the left, on the right, all strokes very gentle, very thin if you need it. And color, look, we're going for more light. It's still green, but it's less blue or burnt umber in it. So now you can probably starting to see these groups of grass here and there. Next layer, let's count. First was very dark one, second was a middle shaded green, and a third we're going to work with the lights on it. Yes, here it's a time for one stroke brush, and we're going mostly on those grass that was creating on a previous layer. So each painting will be different. Each painting, even if you will follow my tutorial, your brush going your own strokes, they all are different. So your result, of course, will have some different details. There's nothing wrong with it. It's giving unique look to each piece. So we just putting a light accents on grass, on the ends. If you need it, you can blend a little bit. You can blend color into the grass with your fingertip. And from this moment, everything you need to remember, be patient. Be patient, don't be rushing with it, because small stroke and work going not fast. Grass by grass, one by one, you creating lights on it. But in the end, it's a reward waiting for us. We're gonna get a really detailing grass on a foreground. I already demonstrated to you the way, another way to create a grass. You can check acrylic landscape on my channel. There we created Provence landscape with lots of flowers on it, and there we wasn't working on the details that much. Here it's another way and another final look. In my view, I have to demonstrate to you different ways, and you will be able to pick up those way, those method, those technique that better fits to your ideas. So in the end, I believe after you will follow my tutorials, you will combine different technique you learned from it, and you'll be able to create your own compositions. So third layer, it's a light on a grass, and it's almost done in my view for now. Later, of course, we can give a more crispy look on some grass with better contrast. Better contrast, we will just put light spots on some grass there. But look on top of our composition, it coming kind of empty right now, because we're gonna create the trees. About trees, first I want to let you know I can still see sketch line through the sky area, because layer of color there kind of thin. If you lost your sketch lines, what to do? You remember I transferred my sketch first, so there was pencil on a back side of the list, so it's still possible to put here sketch again and transfer lines again, second time. So at any time, if you lost any lines and you need it, you can transfer again. If you have questions about how to transfer lines from my sketches to the good watercolor paper or on a canvas, I actually demonstrated it on a previous tutorials, but if you didn't saw this process, I will think about to create a special video about it just to demonstrate you the whole process. Don't be shy to ask. Next step, as I told you, I'm creating a trees. Final result, even before you starting this tutorial, you can find on my Patreon, also on my Instagram and on a Facebook. So watch it before you will start. This way you will keep in memory what details we gonna work in the future, right? So there is no empty sky gonna be in the end. There is a trees, but it's not just a field, it's a grass and water, and trees on coast like this never growing too big or healthy. Usually it's more thin, and I created this kind of trunk, also very thin branches and twigs. On the left part you can see 2 trees, and on the right part of the composition we will create just gentle and thin twigs and branches. Imagine there is a tree out of the frame of our composition. It's very near from us, but we can't see the trunk in this frame. Only part of the crown will be visible for us. I will put more details on the trees, like a light spot. It can be some middle color for better volume. And actually, if you already like your result without any leaves, you can stop on this step and not add any green crowns here. In my view, green crowns will look okay here as well, so let's check how it's gonna look. For crowns, what we're gonna use? We can use, of course, just flat oval brushes that will give us those big spots. Also fine, but if you have natural bristle brushes, I really recommend you to create crowns with it. You can check on my channel, we already created one landscape with a bush in a center. So there I demonstrated to you how to work with a big crown, how to create volume, light and shadow. So if you didn't complete the previous one, I really recommend it to you. At least watch demonstration tutorial. If you will like it, you can follow my Patreon and find the real-time version. Check there, I was demonstrating process with the natural bristle rough brushes. Very detailed. Here we just following the same idea. Just don't create long strokes. It's a stamping process. Stamp, 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 pat, 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 pat. No any long strokes you need to do. And about colors, following the same way that we had with the grass. Dark, middle shaded and light detailing. That's it. Starting with the dark one and moving to the lighter and lighter shades. Yeah, something like this. Don't put too many leaves here, because look how beautiful background looking through the crones. Those pink and blue colors, very nice here, and crones looking more as a lace, not just a really thick group of leaves. Also, remember, if you're already close to final result, to the last steps of the tutorial, you have to check your painting from the distance, because when you're close to your painting, you can see all details everywhere. But if you step back, you can get the common look on it. And sometimes it's really nice to take a look to get the common idea. Is contrast good enough on a foreground? Is there a really nice blend on a sky, on a background? So check it from the distance. After you got idea what you have to fix, you can again step close to your painting and correct something that you noticed. In the end, I will add a little bit of flowers. It's a white first, and it's a pink ones. Pink I got because I have the same pink on the sky, so I think it's really looking nice and beautiful when we have using the same color in a different part of the composition. And water lilies in the end. Create not just open flowers, but also some little buds. I will put my sign. Don't forget to sign your works. That's kind of important in my opinion. If you don't want to place your sign on the front, you always can put it on the back side of your paper. And after time will pass, at least half year, you'll notice what progress you did. In the end, I already removed tape with a hair dryer with hot air, and I noticed I forgot those canes. I think it's looking good here, but if you personally don't like this part of cane, you can skip it, or you can place there any flowers on your own taste. For example, yellow lilies will look nice there. What do you think? I hope you, my dear friends, had a pleasure to paint it with me. Don't forget to subscribe my channel. That was a PaintyKat, and I wish you all the best. Bye bye.